Victoria. Alrighty, guys. How are you guys doing?
So good.
Okay, well, I will try to make this speedy.
Not
too speedy, but like, speedy enough.
Yeah.
Anywho, so before I start, I do want to thank Sam. We kind of came in this last semester not really knowing what was going on. I came in part-time, I wound up full-time, all that good jazz. But she has done a great job in helping me learn, grow. I've done 2 summers with Breakthrough, but I can't say I came in knowing what XU was or what I was doing. But she has handled me with grace and done a great job leading me. So I want to say thank you in front of everyone.
Oh, that's so sweet.
All right.
That's cute.
Enough of that. These are 2 of our wonderful seniors that are graduating this year, Kobe and Tyra. So whoop whoop to them.
Sweet.
Whoop whoop. Alrighty, I had a great icebreaker, and I'm still gonna say it, but you guys just can't answer. What is your favorite? What is your favorite form of potato?
Good.
So like mine is mashed potatoes.
I knew you would love it.
Hash.
You got me with a good mashed potato, but y'all hold that. We can
Hash,
talk
yeah.
about it over lunch.
Like a loaded hash.
Alrighty, so to jump right on in, we had some goals coming into this year. We had a goal, this is fall, but we had a goal of 80%, and so we went above that and hit 85% for our participation, which is really good. Round that up, we hit that. That's really good. And then, although we only had 14% score growth in ACT, we saw a rise in 3 out of 4 of the sections, right? So, although we didn't meet where we wanted to be, we still saw significant growth, and we saw that the students that came on every Saturday had the most growth. So that will help us next year as we're planning. Yes.
And I will also say during the celebration dinner for XU, the kids were pitching to other kids of like why they needed to be attending. They were like able to articulate independently without even being prompted of like, y'all, this was so amazing. You guys should do it, especially because it's for free, especially if you're in the 9th and 10th grade. This is the thing that you guys should be really thinking about. So that was pretty powerful.
Okay. So when you send these to Victoria, can you flip them? Because she can't read them.
Can you pause?
Oh, she has access to it.
She has
Yeah,
access.
yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, all right. Alrighty. So, we just want to point out how good this slide looks. It's probably the best looking slide. Sam did it, so just want to give her kudos. But really quickly, some things that we saw and we wanted to implement this summer were we needed a recommitment ceremony. I think we heard that over a Zoom or something like that, and we wanted to look more into that. And what that recommitment ceremony did was get everybody on the same page. What are our expectations? What is your capacity versus what is XU asking you? So although you may want to be a part, are you able to be a true part? Because you can be a part and then not answer the phone. So this recommitment ceremony was basically everybody on the same page. These are our expectations. This is what we want out of you. Can you give us that? They would bring their school schedules for the semester. We just did it in January, so that was the first one, which is going to be really important as I show you the fall versus spring data. So it shows how important it was, and in the fall it's just going to be commitment, but you get it. Instead of recommitment. Anywho, we implemented a mentor check-in survey. So basically our mentors got a Google form, and as they were going through their check-ins with their scholars, they were able to put certain information so we could keep up with it. What did you discuss? Did y'all talk about academics? Did you talk about relationships? Did you talk about exposure? So maybe we went on an A&M field trip. So maybe you wanted to talk about that exposure in that trip. We had other topics. We talked about post-secondary, that kind of thing. And then we piloted a parent pipeline workshop, which was really good. We know there is a need for parents to be involved. Although we're working with high schoolers, it's easy to say, oh, parents are hands-off in high school. But the truth of the matter is they need to know what's going on. They need to know the opportunities that are out there for their scholars. So we were able to get some things out of that. We're able to pipeline our older scholars into some more hands-on stuff like Shipped, right? Because it's cute to come on field trips. It's cute to do those things. But if you're junior, senior, like we want to make sure you're doing the things necessary to make you successful when you go into post-secondary. Out of that, we were able to get 2 of our scholars not only applied for College Choice Foundation, but accepted. So whoop for them. 2 of those scholars are also our interns this year. So we'll be able to pour into them and get them geared up and ready for those kind of things. 28 parents/families were impacted, which is a huge deal. Again, when I show you these numbers from the fall and spring, it'll show you just how much growth we've had with parent engagement, and then we've established this pipeline. So we really enjoyed all of that. So let's jump into the spring. So gender, we hit 19 male, 17 female. We have more 9th than anything, and so we see that as they're coming out of SYP, we are pipelining them into XU, and so we want to make sure we're gearing things towards them. We have less of that 11th and 12th, so that's that pipelining out into more internships. We have the externships coming this fall, but externships that aren't breakthrough, that kind of thing, to get them ready. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's things other than that. We have 35 Black, 1 Hispanic. We haven't really talked about wanting to grow out of that, but I know during the summer we get some other than Black scholars, so we do want to pipeline some more people into this. We had people with 4+ touch points, 52%, and then our average touch point was 5. 5 scholars. Am I reading that correct?
5.5 touch points per scholar.
Thank you. Thank you. And so we have 29 active scholars, so they got 1 event plus a touch point, or just 1 thing plus a touch point, might not necessarily be an event. We have 36 scholars registered, and then 37 unique scholars. Does all that make sense? Any questions? Okay.
So for the unique scholars for throughout the entire year, so fall and spring, there were 37 unique scholars. Is that what that's reading? Okay, and in this semester specifically, 36 of them were registered, and 29 of them had at least 1 touch point.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. This is my second fishbowl, but I think
Don't apologize. No. Yeah, this is good. Our job is to ask questions for clarification. You're doing a great job.
Yes, and just to clarify, of the active, love seeing an active number, like people that have gone to anything. I'm seeing it. Over half of them have been to 4 or over things, which is huge.
Yes, very.
Does that include like mentor check-ins and events and things like that? Like, what is included in a touch point?
Everything. So whether it was a mentor check-in, an event, a club, anything like that.
So if they had 1 event and 3 mentor check-ins, that's 4.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Got it.
And then we had 55 demonstrating interest. This is really important because, like I said, at that recommitment ceremony, you might want to do it, but you might not have that capacity. You might have cheer, you might have band, you might have sports. And so this is an important number, and we're trying to see, are there ways for us to broaden our horizon and allow those scholars to participate, or if it's a womp womp, we miss you, we love you. We'll check on you, and that's kind of it. Alrighty, another pretty slide. Love pretty slides. Great job.
Yeah, Marion did that.
Oh, great job, Marion.
Barely.
Kudos. So fall versus spring. This is where that recommitment ceremony really shows these numbers, right? So coming in the fall, we just kind of took the information. I'm going to express this a little bit later. But me and Sam basically inherited XU and came in a rebuilding mindset. So what is XU? What do we want to be true for XU? Those kind of things. So we kind of just took the numbers from the previous semester, took those scholars, jumped them all right in, right? So we had 34 registered last semester, but we had 36 registered this semester after getting that clarity on expectations. We had 16 scholars do 1 touch point plus event last semester, but we had 29, which is an 81% increase of registered and participate, right? So in that, and the recommitment ceremony was here. As we grow, it might have to be somewhere else because this isn't a big building, right? But this increase is huge because of communication. That's that over communication that breakthrough lives off of. Total number of scholars attending 0 events. We didn't hear from you. We don't know you. Who are you? That kind of thing. We had a 61% decrease this semester.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. So that shows how important this recommitment ceremony is, and we're very excited to see what the commitment ceremony looks like in the fall, to see if we can get this down just by having that conversation. Total number of touch points. We had a 160% increase. right? And a big thanks to our mentors. We had some mentors come on from the summer, and we had them fill out an application and do an interview to basically see who was up to par. And they were able to check in with our scholars. They were able to have that one-on-one relationship. Me and Sam aren't hands-on 25/8 because we're doing the behind the scenes, but they helped get this up because they were the ones reaching out. Hey, we need to talk. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do that. We also had a 43.7 increase in average number of touch points. So this is attending one plus event. So, you know, they love to come to the fun stuff. Everybody's at the squadron game, and then you're nowhere to be found at the A&M college tour, right? So we had an increase on those things again. Recommitment ceremony saved our lives. We were on a Zoom with, I can't remember who, but they were talking about it, or maybe it was in the handbook, something. But we discussed it, we made it happen, and honestly, it has made XU thrive.
And the goal was four touch points per average, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we had a 114%, thank you, words are hard, increase for 4+ touch points. So we just aren't seeing you one time in the semester. It's not just like a hey, and then have you seen so and so? I forgot they exist. It's not that. We've had a true increase.
So really, that's about minimum about like a monthly, like once a month on average. You're seeing.
Yes.
Okay.
So me and Sam are reaching out. The mentors are reaching out. They're getting hit at every end, so someone's going to touch them. All right. Attendance and participation at XU events. This is a beautiful slide, just because nothing is under. All of them are beautiful. Okay, I'm sorry. But really, Marion has taught me the value in data. I'm a data is boring person. But inheriting. It's important, guys. No, it's very important, but it's. I like the fun, I like the joy, I like the face-to-face, but looking at this shows
this is
the face-to-face, right? It shows what I have done. I don't just have memories, I have numbers. And we have nothing below 87% when it comes to
And for high school, y'all, that is really
for
hard.
High school,
really hard, yeah.
Right? And so I pitched Poetry Club for spring semester, and some people may look at that and say, oh, you only had 2 scholars. That's depressing. Well, I always told them when they came in that first meeting, I said, I have good news, I have bad news. I always start with bad news. The bad news is there's only 2 of you. The good news is there's only 2 of you. Right? So you're able to really hone in on their goals. You're really able to hone in on what they want to do. And my 2 wanted to grow in speaking in front of people. They wanted to grow in how do I get my emotions out on paper, right? So although I only had 2, I had 2 for 5 weeks.
I will also say, for those who have been here long enough to know that William was one of the 2, that's a big deal.
And he was getting picked up on time?
Yeah.
Another piece of that is both of their parents stayed.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, one of them was in here doing work, maybe one was over there doing work, but they heard everything that was going on, right? They know what's going on with their scholars. So next semester, over this past year, we've built that relationship, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. But all this is good because even at our lowest number, we had our highest participation, highest attendance, highest engagement. And even as the numbers went up, usually as numbers go up, attendance goes down, but it doesn't even go down a crazy amount. So,
and I just want to say, also highlighting the recommitment like we have been, we had 39 scholars come in person or online, and we had 55 registered, which means we practically almost touched every single person on that interest form and got a response, which was not possible last semester. So I just want to highlight that.
And again, all kudos to Sam. She has taught me so much. Because one thing about my strength scope is empathy is not on there. And so I'm a very much, if they didn't answer, they didn't answer. What you want me to do? But Sam is very, it's okay to handhold. It's okay to slow walk people because this is our baby and we have to take care of our baby. And that means we have to.
They don't have the skills yet.
You know, so she has taught me the value and the power and continue to reach out, continue to make things possible like recommitment so we can be on one page.
Hey, aww.
She want to raise.
All right. Give her one. Give me one too. She couldn't have done it without me.
Love the self-advocacy.
Alrighty, our mentors check-in. What did we talk about? We talked about academics. academics, we talked about post-secondary, you talked about relationships, exposure, and other. That other could be anything outside of these 4 categories. We had 42 total check-ins. Mind you, this form came about spring semester. So this is not fall and spring. This is only spring. And we lost a lot of scholars from the fall because spring is more heavy when it comes to maybe like a basketball, maybe like a cheer. So this is really good information, and I can't wait to piggyback it looking over a year. Yes?
The other context was there was a kind of form before, but it was really hard to capture consistent information because the mentors would just sort of decide. It just wasn't that good.
No.
Yeah.
We weren't able to say you talked about academics.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't as precise. And we had, so these 42, we had 13 unique scholars. So out of this number, we were looking at 13 scholars. Yes.
And the 13 unique.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
So this means these people saw once plus for a total of 42.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So we could look at 42 divided by 13 and see an average.
Yes, but we kept up with the individual. I might have one scholar that did 2. I might have one scholar that did 6.
Right.
Like, so it's not an even division, but it is still
About
a great
3.
number.
About 3
An
check-ins.
average of 3.
Like there was one scholar who had like 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was hard. College has been a lot. We're happy she got to her
I do
master's.
love seeing that the majority of the conversation they're focused on is post-secondary.
Yes.
They're really curious about that, and I feel like that tracks with what you were saying about the C3 club. Remind
Yes.
C3 stands for
College Career Club.
and like how much interest they were like,
Oh yeah, they had questions.
Yes.
which is good. Okay.
And as I was inputting this data, I was able, the way the form is set up, they're in order of when they were submitted. It was very interesting to see that it started out very heavy academically, but to see that relationship grow and that comfort grow, and then we tap into maybe talking about relationships. Then we talk and say, okay, maybe I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I do know what I want to do, but let's talk about that post-secondary. So that was a very fun. She loves data. I can't say that. That would be a lie. But I am learning the value in it. Alrighty, some more data. We love it. Parent engagement. Now this is very important because sometimes parents are involved when it comes to high school. Sometimes they're non-existent, right? But we had a total touch point of 40 parents. Whoop, whoop. So that might be mom and dad. That might just be mom across the board, dad across the board, that kind of thing. We had 19 parents attend only one thing. So that's 65.5% of our parents. But we had 12 parents attend 2+ events, right? So we saw a lot of our parents. A number in this is William and Mackenzie's mom came to every poetry club, right? So they came, that was like February 12th to like March 12th, plus the open mic night. So they were in here, and they might not have been doing poetry club, but they were still here, and they were still supporting their scholars. Was your hand up?
No. That was my question was going to be what's the maximum they could have had? Like what's the maximum amount of touch points a parent could have leaned into? Yeah, you know.
So poetry 4, if we look at it that way, we had about 5, maybe 6 things they could have attended.
And for this, only because transparency for SYP Annex U, parent engagement is new to us tracking on how to capture it. So for now, it's captured up. They at least attended a club session, so they could attend that club, the college trip, which we had parents at, recommitment, and end of year.
Okay, so there's
parent
okay.
pipeline and the scholarship.
So about 6 options.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 options.
But we love this, and we can't wait for it to go up. Our thought process is to partner more with SYP because they're coming, as they come from Tay, they come into us. So as we do that partnership, there's more knowledge, and the parents are more familiar and comfortable.
Which we did twice this year.
Sorry,
You probably
really
not gonna have time for the video. So.
Kathy, actually, I'm upset with you now. I wasn't upset with you, but now I'm upset. Okay. If everybody's sitting here for lunch, can we play it for lunch?
Sure.
Our mentors are mostly out of town, and we have one out of state. So for our end of the year celebration, I thought it would be terrible to not have them speak to our scholars. So they all sent videos speaking to their scholars, giving them kudos, that kind of thing. And I clipped them all together and made a video. So if most people are sitting here for lunch, I'll play it for lunch.
And it's not super long.
It's like 3-ish minutes.
Yeah.
This is Morgan. This is Jeremiah. These are some things that they had to say. Mostly just being a mentor made them feel good, made them able to pour into somebody. Morgan had mentioned she remembers being their age, so it was easy to kind of tap back into that. We also have Kayla and we have Jeremiah. Let's give y'all a second to read that. It's very cute.
We haven't seen Braden since last semester. I hate basketball.
So this is our kickoff. This is our fall squadron game. This is A&M. So these are both spring. The other two are both fall.
They're so cute.
They are so cute. The scholars and the mentors.
Money.
Okay, so I told Hattie I get to talk about money today, and I'm going to talk directly to her. Alrighty, so if you see, we had a lot of money, and we didn't spend it all. Now, before I get into it, I will say we saved a lot of money on things like, thanks to Doc, during our fall squadron game, we got the hookup, y'all. We got the hookup. We got floor seats, so like we saved money there. We didn't take a college tour in the fall, which budgeted in. We saved money there. For the spring squadron game, we went with SYP. So don't take money from us. Please, I'm begging.
So what I'm hearing is you don't need the money. Noted.
Don't start that next year. Right. But yeah, so we spent up almost $4,000 on event/food, so that's ACT, and then feeding them lunch. Workshops, I'm sorry, that's a lie. That's ACT and lunch. Events and food is like college tour, squadron game, that kind of thing. And so, yes, so like squadron game, there was food in, like we still paid. The hookup wasn't free. The hookup was just a little bit less, cheaper, right? And then for like, clubs, we're gonna feed you. We're not gonna let you starve. It might be a chip, but you're not gonna starve. Here's a Cheeto. The most money we spent was on our mentors, and we do have a question at the end. It's gonna be tailored to our mentors, so you guys can maybe keep this in your mind, maybe not. Let me know. And then miscellaneous, this is like travel reimbursements. We have Jemiah, who's coming from Atlanta. You have Jeremiah, who's coming from A&M. Maybe it's printing, right? So miscellaneous is just the stuff that doesn't necessarily fall in this category, but the money was still spent. It still has to be accounted for, but it's not much. So depending on next semester, we may budget it better. It might be fine. That's the money, Hattie.
I loved it.
That went by way faster than I
Highlight of my day. Thank you.
And this is fall and spring. Our partners, whoop, whoop, whoop. So we have Regions, we have College Choice Foundation, Outschool, Woodlawn United. We had a great time with them this semester. Like Outschool was our Adulting 101, Quant Hub, that kind of thing. So yes, and then like I said, 2 of our scholars got into College Choice Foundation. So whoop, whoop, whoop. All great things. XU wins. This is my favorite slide. So Sam was asking me, what do you think our wins are this summer? So the first one is community connectedness. When me and Sam went to the family kickoff in this fall, parents, expressed not anxiety, but we don't know y'all, and we don't know what XU is gonna be, right? And that's how they felt, and I understand. New management comes into something, you don't know what it's gonna be. You don't know these people, you don't know how they are. So they expressed worry to a certain degree, but we were able to break that glass ceiling. We were able to get close. Tyra Davis's mom, if y'all know her, she will speak her mind, period, point
she
blank.
really will.
But at the end of the year celebration, she was very thankful. She was very grateful, right? So to see that to see that
180.
not 180 because that's dramatic. She wasn't like I hate you, but to see the 180 of I don't know you, I don't know if I can trust you, to thank y'all, we appreciate y'all, was such a beautiful sight to see, and to be a part. Like I said, I came in part-time, not really knowing what was going on, but I became full-time, and me and Sam were able to tackle XU and make it our own. So that community connectiveness really stuck with me, yes.
And I'll name for Tyra's mom in particular, she's an interesting archetype of a parent of is this even worth it? But one of the things that she was saying during XU celebration was essentially synopsis was, a tone of regret that Tyra didn't participate more, actually.
Yeah.
Which for me, I was like, well, told you. But it was also just like because she's a parent that knows a lot, is well educated, and makes and Tyra, I think, is also very well connected in terms of just like what opportunities she's participating in, and so Breakthrough was one of multiple. Tyra, I think, is also youth serve kid and a couple of other clubs and all the things,
for school, so.
all the pieces there. So like, it's not that Miss Consuela is not right about those pieces, but I think her getting to see how other kids were expressing, like how much fun they were having and how they connected and how they grew, etc., and what parents were expressing, you could hear from her reflection of just like, I kind of wish Tyra had gotten some of that piece there.
Yes. Scholar relationships built and established. So again, I'm from Dago, so these scholars really don't know me. They kind of know Miss Sam because she was outdoor school, but not really. And then the mentors that came in, maybe you were at JO, maybe you were at Woodlawn, so maybe you know them, maybe you don't. But we were able to really connect with them. They were able to have really great relationships with us. They're able to reach out to us. Like I said, me and Sam aren't touching them 25/8 like the mentors are, but they still loved us and came to us for things. So it's just great to see those relationships blossom. We don't have many seniors exiting, so we still have time. Whoop whoop. And then excited to build those relationships with the upcoming ninth graders. Under budget. Woo woo. We ate that up. That will be going in our last check.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I love that it said moving forward.
You can give Doc some too. You can give Doc some.
I love that it
Oh, well, never mind. All right, and then recommitment ceremony. I've been preaching to the choir this whole time. It's just been a huge help to us. We don't know what spring semester would have looked like without it. So those are our wins. Aren't they cute?
Yay!
Okay. All right, we know this. Blah, you ready?
Yep. You have about, let's say, 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So this isn't much to. I don't have much to say. Basically, the way our mentors worked, where they were purely virtual. So we had Samford, we had Morgan, the closest. We had A&M, Mr. Jeremiah. We had Spellman, which was Miss Maya, and then we have Kayla all the way in Chicago. So it was a little difficult to get them on the ground for events, but it worked very well with the check-ins because you don't have to worry about finding somewhere to go. You just hop on that Zoom. So our question, and hop in if I'm not asking, if I'm not giving them enough background, but basically we didn't have enough hands on deck when it came to our events, because our events have to be tailored to our scholars, not to our mentors. So our question is, would it be beneficial for us to have facilitators as well as mentors?
And I will give the context of, we're thinking of decreasing from 4 to 2 only because the amount, as y'all saw, it was 13 unique scholars who actually took advantage of the mentorship. So we don't necessarily need 4. The workload doesn't require that. But at the same time, we don't want, if you're a mentor, you're also a facilitator, because there was a unique difference in quality of us 4 that we selected for a reason to be mentors. So that's kind of the background of why. And facilitators, less requirements for them, just kind of show up, do your job, and thank you.
Bye. Jordan.
I think you can't go wrong with having people specifically for the event, specifically because I don't think you'll have like a crazy amount of events.
It's not like SYP, yeah.
I think even maybe what it looks like to utilize your SYP facilitators for the extra events.
Because they're always looking for extra.
Already on payroll, they already know our scholars. But thinking about growth, you have 13 scholars this semester.
Right.
The way that Breakthrough is growing, you might have 32 next. So I think that it would be not necessarily. Yeah, I think we would be selling ourselves short if we were to cut that instead of seeing where that goes forward.
I think that a consideration might be, and this is going back to the data, because even if there were 13 scholars, unique scholars, I wonder at what times people were meeting. Like if you only had 2, and they don't have the capacity to meet with everybody at the time that the 13 necessarily needed.
Right.
And so just thinking about it in terms of matching them up with, just...
And to give context, the mentors presented office hours, and the scholars signed up for whoever.
Okay.
We picked the mentors, but whatever time fits best, the scholars were able to choose.
Also think about when XU was college bound, and when we were gradually going down from 4 mentors to 3 then to 2, and how
It
on
was
just
crazy.
one mentor, 6 scholars was insane.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about
The personal relationship.
the relationship between that scholar and maybe the difference between me being a mentor and I have 4 than me being a mentor and I have 8.
Yeah.
And the intentionality behind how I can utilize myself for check-ins and things like that. So I definitely think the facilitator's piece though is an easy fix. I think that's pull your SYP. They're always looking for more things to do when it comes to money and hours. I don't think that's a bad.
Isabella?
I have 2 questions. One, do the mentors stick with, or the scholars stick with the same mentor the entire time? Like for
Good
all their
question.
check-ins?
Yes.
My second question is, considering that we've acknowledged that we have such diversity in the 4 mentors, how do you guys pair up scholars with mentors based on
Good
their
question.
needs?
Sam?
Yes. So this year it was more of talking with scholars, especially at kickoff, but then just having text conversations about the things that they needed out of the mentor. And then when we talked with mentors, we actually had them fill out kind of what are you good at, what do you feel strong in, but what would be areas of support you would need for a scholar. So if you feel strong with supporting a scholar academically, we paired Tyra with Kayla because she also did the IB route and things like that. So we try to pair them with interests and strengths.
Who were your facilitators?
We didn't have any.
Yeah,
It was-
So give me an example of who would be one.
Another like Morgan
Like
Sanders.
Morgan Sanders or Ruchi,
Ruchi.
who are
Love
hired
it.
specifically for
Perfect.
SYP events, but could do the SYP.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
And although this is for a window of time, because
Right.
it's not actually necessarily that, because a lot of SYP facilitators express like, oh, I don't do older students, but they would know them by this point. And so I think that's a different piece. So for this window of time, it does work. My watch out piece of just like, to reiterate Jordan's point about like 6 or 8 students for one mentor, it's not necessarily just a function of time. It's actually the function of the emotional labor aspect that I think is something that like I haven't been able to get down into work, but that's the thing I think that squeezes teachers the most, teaching fellows. That's the mental fatigue that comes from having to manage 6 different relationships on top of life. And we know our teaching fellows, historically, this is an area of growth for them in that sense. So I think that's the watch out piece, but I'm not entirely sure what the answer is yet either.
Okay.
So I think that's the piece of,
We're sitting with.
well, I also think that maybe the unfortunate piece might be the way that we look at, even with teaching fellow cohorts coming in every summer. It's every single summer, it's a different game for how it is that you sort of manage like who comes on based off what the quality of the cohort is.
Okay.
And so that's not necessarily like an exact science. You just,
I'm gonna keep my 4.
yeah, the 4 that you have, the one that you already trained and who know how they do this.
I want to keep them.
Yeah.
Stepping away from stipend?
Oh, they
Yeah, everybody's stepping away from stipends. Yeah. Which means having to keep up with their hours and timesheets.